What if I told you that while most people are worried about saving a few bucks at the grocery store, billionaires are moving their money through invisible pipelines across the globe, untouchable by taxes, lawsuits, or market crashes? This is not a movie. This is how billionaires will protect their wealth in 2025. And in the next 20 minutes, I will reveal their methods to stay rich no matter what the economy throws at them. Stick around because of the last strategy. Almost no one talks about it, but it could change your thoughts about money forever. Segment 1. Trusts and legal armor. Let's start with the first line of defense: trust. To the average person, trust might sound like something only old money families use. But in 2025, billionaires are using highly complex trusts to shield their wealth from lawsuits, creditors, and even future ex-bosses. Creating a comprehensive plan for protecting wealth often includes maintaining enough liquidity to alleviate risks, ensuring your assets, protecting personal and business assets through offshore trusts, and developing a comprehensive estate plan. The secret: irrevocable trusts. Once assets are placed into these legal entities, they no longer belong to the individual. This means that if someone sues the billionaire personally, they cannot touch the assets inside the trust. And it goes deeper. Many billionaires use offshore asset protection trusts in places like the Cook Islands or NEAs, where US court rulings have little authority. Good luck suing someone whose assets are protected by an island law firm that does not even recognize your legal system. But here is the twist. Even if you cannot touch their money, you still have to find it. And that leads us to the second strategy. Segment 2. Layers of LLCs and shell companies. Why does an anonymous Delaware LLC own a $50 million penthouse? It is because billionaires do not put assets in their names. They use layers of limited liability companies to create corporate shells that are nearly impossible to trace. Billionaires, including LLCs and shell companies, use multiple strategies to protect their assets. These strategies often involve a combination of legal structures, tax planning, and secrecy, making it difficult to trace ownership and access their holdings. Here is a more detailed look at the techniques. 1. LLCs and shell companies. LLCs, limited liability companies. These legal entities offer liability protection to their owners, separating their assets from their business interests. They can be used to own real estate, businesses, or other assets, making it harder to track ownership or access assets in case of legal issues. Shell companies are registered companies with little or no actual business operations. They can hold assets or ownership in other companies, further obscuring the ultimate owner. Layers of LLCs and shell companies. Billionaires often create multiple layers of LLCs and shell companies, each owned by the previous one, making it even more challenging to identify the ultimate beneficial owner. 2. Other strategies. Asset protection trusts. These trusts can have complex rules and legal structures that make it difficult to determine ownership or access the assets. Transfer pricing involves shifting assets or profits between the company's subsidiaries, often to lower tax obligations in certain jurisdictions. Offshore accounts. Opening bank accounts in jurisdictions with weak regulation through anonymous trusts or shell companies can help hide assets. Art and other movable assets. High-value art or other assets can be easily transferred internationally, making them difficult to seize or locate. Free ports. The ultra-wealthy often use these tax-free zones near shipping ports or airports to store assets and avoid taxes. 3. Why these strategies are used. Asset protection. These strategies help protect assets from creditors, lawsuits, or potential seizure by government agencies. Tax avoidance. By shifting profits or assets to lower tax jurisdictions, billionaires can reduce their tax burden. Secrecy. These structures can help maintain privacy and avoid scrutiny of their financial affairs. Political influence. According to Yahoo Finance, LLCs can donate to political campaigns without disclosing the donor. 4 challenges and countermeasures increased scrutiny. Governments and regulators are increasingly focused on tracking and addressing the use of LLCs and shell companies for illicit purposes. Beneficial ownership transparency. There is growing pressure to require disclosure of the beneficial owners of LLCs and other entities, as reported by Yahoo Finance. International cooperation. International efforts are being made to share information and crack down on financial crimes, including tax evasion and money laundering. Here is how it works. You set up a Wyoming LLC, which owns a Delaware LLC, and a real estate holding company in the Cayman Islands. Each layer creates legal and geographical distance, making it incredibly difficult for regulators or litigators to follow the money. Even if a court orders you to disclose your assets, you can legally say, "I do not own them." Because technically you do not, the companies do. But what if governments demand transparency? What if regulations tighten? That is when billionaires deploy their most potent weapon yet. Segment 3. Offshore banking. Offshore banking is not just about hiding money, but about controlling it. In 2025, top-tier banks in Switzerland, Singapore, and the Bahamas offer ultra-private banking services, including encrypted communication, multi-currency diversification, and even vaults storing precious metals. Billionaires use these institutions to protect their money from lawsuits or government overreach, as well as from inflation and currency collapse. The key advantage: privacy laws. Some jurisdictions have banking secrecy laws so strong that even local governments struggle to access account details. But privacy is not free. There are traps. Unless you know the loopholes, one false move can trigger massive penalties. Which brings us to strategy number 4. Segment 4. Strategic tax. Engineering. If you think billionaires are paying more taxes than you, think again. Many legally pay far less. Their secret weapon: strategic tax engineering. They drastically reduce their tax burden using techniques like depreciation, capital gains treatment, carried interest, and 1031 exchanges. In 2025, with new AI-assisted tax planning tools, billionaires can simulate hundreds of scenarios before making a single move. They do not earn income the way most people do. Instead, they borrow against their assets, live off the loans, and avoid taxable events. It is called the buy, borrow, die strategy. Sounds unfair. It is not illegal, but it gets even more sophisticated when billionaires move from tax avoidance to full-on wealth multiplication. Segment 5. Private equity and insider deals. Wealth protection is not just about defense. Billionaires play offense too through private equity. While the average investor gets index funds, billionaires get early access to startups, private rounds, and off-market deals that the public never sees. In 2025, these private markets are where real growth happens. And the best part? Many of these deals come with built-in tax advantages, like qualified small business stock exemptions, which can eliminate millions in capital gains. Plus, by sitting on the boards of these companies, they directly influence outcomes. They are not betting on the game. They are rewriting the rules. But what happens when governments try to level the playing field? When regulation tightens and access narrows? That's when the ultra-wealthy activate their final move. Segment 6, Citizenship Arbitrage and Economic Flags in 2025. A passport is not just an ID, but a financial strategy. Billionaires engage in citizenship arbitrage, acquiring passports from countries with low taxes, flexible regulations, and strong asset protection laws. With the rise of digital nomadism, second citizenships, and golden visa programs, the wealthy can now shift their residency, banking, and even legal presence to where it benefits them most. It is called the five-flag theory. Live in one country, hold citizenship in another, bank in a third, run a business in a fourth, and store assets in a fifth. Does it sound complex? It is, but it works. And yet, none of this compares to what we'll show you next, the strategy that even most billionaires do not talk about publicly. Final segment, legacy engineering and perpetual wealth. The final move is not about money. It is about legacy. The ultra-wealthy use family offices, private foundations, and charitable trusts to create perpetual wealth machines that serve not just them, but their lineage. By structuring their assets under foundations and donor-advised funds, they avoid estate taxes, maintain control beyond the grave, and shape the world according to their values. This is not tax evasion. It is tax transformation. Money becomes a mission. Wealth becomes an influence, and it never dies. So now you know how billionaires will protect their wealth in 2025. The question is, will you learn from them or compete against them? Hit that subscribe button if you want more inside knowledge on the financial strategies they do not teach in school. And drop a comment which of these blew your mind the most.